Hi, everyone. Welcome to another coffee break. And this is the last coffee break I'm going to do this year. So happy holidays! Yay! And as usual, I want to answer 3 questions. And because it's the end of the year, so everything I'm talking about is it's marketing planning. I know it's not your favorite topic. You probably want me to talk about like where to go shop and buying the gifts. But not today. What I'm going to talk about is really 3 questions, really about marketing planning. And but if you are not doing that right now, don't worry about it. Just remember this live session, and you can always come back when you come back from your vacation. Okay. But if you already have your draft of a marketing planning, yay, good for you. But there may be a couple things that you can refine. So I want to talk about that a little bit more. So here are 3 questions. Number one, I am stuck with my yearly marketing planning. And because they are so complicated, and I work in a big enterprise and there are many elements, how can I make it simple? How can I simplify it? So that's number one. Number two, how can I measure content marketing impact and to set up objectives for the whole year? All right, that's a great question. Number two. Number three, what is the best way to set up the content publishing and the editorial process? And so again, all this is really about planning, right? And looking ahead. That's what you are doing. You are looking ahead for 2022 and do some planning. And number one, I'm stuck with my yearly planning cycle, and it's very complicated. Many people wants to add additional elements to it. How can I simplify? That's a great question. And I myself have created 100 slide, no kidding, 100 slide marketing plan in the past. And then over a period of time, seriously, like over 6 years, I look for a way to simplify the number of the slides or move the slide to the backup. And the way I do that is I kind of sit back and I want to understand what I create the marketing plan for, right? What is the objective I want to accomplish? In general, the marketing plan is internal documentation. You either kind of try to align with your internal stakeholders or the other peers of your marketing functional team, or you are trying to present that marketing plan to the upper management to get budget. So what you need to think through is what other people want to see and also what you want to say. Does that make sense? So what other people want to see and what you want to say. And you need to find that overlapping between these 2 big questions. And obviously they want to see a lot of stuff. They want to see, okay, what channels are we doing? What social medias are we doing? What kind of messaging we want to talk about? They have a lot of things they want to see, but you need to kind of simplify that. And your objective for your marketing plan is to answer their questions. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, answer that one question at a time. So when you are looking for your marketing plan, is what are some of the questions they want answered, right? And in general, they are kind of like 3 buckets, right? What is your game plan? Now you have a budget, you have resource. What is your game plan? It's what they want to see. Number 2 is how is your game plan performing, right? How do you measure your success? Number 3 is how are you doing? Or what have you done for me lately? These are the 3 big questions. In terms of what you want to share is what is your game plan? Okay, what are you planning to do in terms of how are you going to measure your success and how are you doing? So what you want to share and what they want to see is pretty much very similar or almost exactly the same. The next thing is structure the information. How are you going to structure the information that's easy for them to understand? That's where the time consuming part that's going happened. You have to visualize in terms of your game plan in kind of like a 12-month rolling calendar. So can you show a visual in terms of a 12 months what you want to do in 1 or 2 slides? I have a template to share with you. If you are interested, comment below. I'm going to send you a template. Just like and comment below. I'm going to share the templates with you in no time, right? So the best way to actually simplify your marketing plan is try to think through what do they really want to see. And then the second thing is what do you want to say, and to find that overlap. And in general, what they want to see is where the channels are, how are you going to market, what are you going to say, how much money are you having, and also how much money you need, and also how to measure your success. That's pretty much a high level in terms of what marketing plan is. But of course, some people will add like a marketing trends, and they will also add like a past campaign performance results as a part of it. You can definitely do that, right? You want to remind everybody in terms of how successful you were in the past. Great, bring that in to substantiate some of your key requests or asks as a part of a marketing plan. That's no issue. So think through in terms of what they want to see, and also how you want to structure that information. How do you want to structure it visually, not just by bullet points? But if you want somebody to brainstorm with you, let me know as well. Comment below, right? Or like, and reach out anytime. hello@pamdidner.com. We can talk about it. So that's question number one. Question number two, how can I measure content marketing impact and set objectives that matter? It's very hard to measure content marketing all by itself. Like a blog post is a blog post, but it actually means something if it's a function of a marketing channel. Does that make sense? Like, for example, you create a blog post, but you do email marketing to promote the blog post, to drive the traffic back to the blog post. So the measurement of that content piece is really, the email marketing activities that you did. Does that make sense? I personally think it's very hard to measure the content all by itself. A content is a content is a content, right? It doesn't mean anything unless somebody promotes it. So it needs to be part of that promotional activity. Does that make sense? Like if I created an episode, podcast episode, but I'm not promoting it, the podcast episode just sit there, right? So you need to promote the heck out of it. So understand your promotional channels will help you to determine how you're going to measure the performance of your content. So from my perspective as a content marketer, you should be very, very close to all the marketing peers who are actually promoting and leveraging your content. Stay close to them, understand what they need, and also work with them and take ownership of some of their performance metrics. That's how I would do it. But if you have other ways to measure the success of your content, great, share that with me. But from my perspective, content needs to be part of the outbound and also inbound marketing effort. And having that information can help you tremendously to determine in terms of your impact of your content. So that's number two. Number three, what is the best way to set up a content publishing and editorial process? There are many tools out there that to actually help all of you, the marketers, to publish content and also manage editorial. CoSchedule, Lately, even Buffer, and an enterprise version of a syndication platform such as Sprinkler. I'm not affiliated with any of these social media platforms. However, I know that they all provide certain features in terms of you can publish your content at ease and also managing your editorial. The key is, what is the best way to kind of set up your publishing and editorial in addition to the tool that you use? A lot of time we will focus on, finding the tool that we'll use. But the tool that you use is managing the technical level of publishing and the editorial. It doesn't help you to think strategically in terms of what topics you should create. It doesn't help you to think strategically in terms of, okay, what are the topical pillars that you should focus on. Does that make sense? So in terms of, there are two levels to it. There's a technical level in terms of using the platform to actually managing your publishing editorial AEs. If you have finished content that you want to publish on a regular basis, there is that you have a tool to use it. But you also need to think through kind of like, okay, what are the topics you want to own it? As a thought leader or as marketing your products and services. For me specifically, content marketing, sales enablement, and account-based marketing is really my forte, right? So these are the topics I need to think through. But publishing platform doesn't help me to create a content for these 3 topics. Does that make sense? So you need to think through at the higher level strategically, what are the topics that you're going to produce. For that, I still think Excel is the best way to do it. Is that sad? That is so sad. But it actually helped me to think through, especially working with my team, to determine what are some of the topics I want to create under these 3, say, pillars. Of course, I do a lot of SEO and keyword search, and then trying to find what's appropriate title that people will find it interesting. At the same time, it's the topic I can write, right? So it's actually kind of hard to trying to find that the marriage that people want to see at the same time is something I'm very comfortable writing, and that takes a lot of thoughts. And editorial process and planning, I would not pretend that I cracked that nut or master that. Even I've been doing managing my own website and creating topics in the past 7 years. I'm still learning. And it's not that easy, especially like you have to be an editor in chief and also content creator and a content promoter at the same time. So when you are, the best way to actually manage the content publishing and the editorial process, a lot of time depends on your roles and responsibility. And but I always encourage everybody, in addition to a technical level of a publishing and editorial, try to find a way to think strategically how you can determine the specific topic, especially a trend level, higher level. What are the topics that you or your company want to own? And that does take a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking. And trust me, Excel file does help, and the other brainstorming tools also can be a great help as well. Okay, so that's very much it actually for this year, and also Coffee Break with Pam. If you have any specific questions that you want to see, let me know. Send me a quick email, hello@pamdidner.com. I love answering people's question. By answering the question, it also helped me articulate in terms of what I should do, So a lot of time when I'm sharing the information, I'm learning myself. And by looking at some of the question in advance and doing some research, I also learning as well. So I hope that you have a great holiday, and I will see you in 2022. Take care. Bye.